would you do if you just finished building an amazing Tamiya Brat with 6 wheels, 2 motors, 2 gearboxes, 2 ESCs, 2 batteries, all built for a crazy speedrun challenge, planning on speeds of 70 mile an hour plus? What would you do? I know what I'd do. I'd get out there and run it. Okay. On my first outing, I crashed it and I bent the body shell already. Fine, whatever. I'm not the first person to have broken their car before the speedrun challenge, and it's only a flesh wound. But let's go back a bunch of steps, because the last time you saw this, it was parts all on the table. So let's go and build it up properly and get it to this point. Most of the footage you're going to see over the next few minutes is from a time before I'd ever driven an ORV. So forgo the judgment. Follow me, understand my pain points of it, but understand that my view of the entire chassis has changed since I started building it. The build, you'll see how that goes. The running, well, you'll see that crash free before the end of the video. Last time, I did a tongue-in-cheek unboxing, show you what the parts are that go into making it. Today, those parts go together. The end of this video, we'll have a running driving vehicle. I've stolen the 380 motor out of the drag hopper. You'll get it back, don't worry. And I've got a system motor already wired up with some connectors on it. I've also taken the time to solder up my 130 amp ESCs, so they're good to go. As far as I know, I have everything I need to get this thing built up. It's my first ORV, but I'm guessing it's not your first. I'm not going to show you the entirety of the build process. I'll cut back if there's anything interesting on the way past, but I'm expecting to build the front end mostly on my own. But I'll certainly show you Tom's gearbox housing and how we mount 2 gearboxes together into that. And then we'll hang the TL01 suspension off there. Right, so that's the front end built up. I would love to say that it's been a pleasurable build, but it really hasn't. I never grew up with the ORV in the first place. I grew up with the Hornet and then went on to the Madcap thereafter. I suddenly realised why people put Tamiya in that toy cars kind of bracket. And this thing is a world apart in terms of its overall like build, I say ethos, that kind of stuff. There's so many things on here that Tamiya have refined over the years and made it so that you can't make mistakes. I think I made a mistake on every single build step doing this. And you'll call out to me and say, well, actually, you should have been concentrating. And I should have been concentrating. But it just from my view of Tamiya, it just feels so un-Tamiya. Everything that they'd done later in the 80s and into the 90s had always been things would locate. And it's silly things. I'll show you. So it's silly things like these cross members. They're just butt fitted because why not? I guarantee every Tamiya after this there would be a difference in this plastic molding such that would you could only get it right. It would half fit in to begin with. The same with the servo mount. There's so many things that are just butted against each other, and I'm discovering differences between it and the Frog. Like the wishbones here are a monster. I mean, it's a monster. I mean, don't get me wrong. But actually, I can see why. When you look at the Frog ones that are so dainty, I can kind of see why they beefed it all up. But what it does mean is I've got huge chunks of metal, and there are 4 screws holding the hub together. It's just immense. So on that side of things, I am enjoying it. I don't really understand what the point of the radius arms is just yet. There's so much play in those; they don't appear to achieve anything compared to the wishbones themselves. But maybe that'll come obvious in due course. So there is quite a lot of play everywhere. I'm not sure I'm going to go to the effort of trying to shim that play out. I think I'm going to build it and see what happens. Yeah. So onwards and upwards. Next up is building gearboxes. Because it's a Monster Beetle, because I've got 2 Monster Beetle kits as the baseline for this, I've got the Monster Beetle gearing that I'm not going to be using. Instead, I've got 2 sets of all of the pieces I need for doing the Frog gearing, so that I can go on largest pinion, smallest spur, and take it from there. I do have 2 full sets of Monster Beetle bearings. I know the bearings I need for the Frog gearing versus the Monster Beetle gearing is different. I'm pretty sure because of those 2 sets, I've got everything I need. Massive interruption. There are 2 ball bearings in this kit. Who would have thought? I mean, there's bushes as well, but there are two actual Tamiya provided ball bearings. I know I'm cut off so you don't get to see my head, but you don't need to see that anyway. I've got everything ready, I believe, to put together my first ORV gearbox. How far on can I really go? I'm expecting this to be back to relatively simple Tamiya. Depends whether I get things the right way up to begin with, doesn't it? And I guess this is what I mean about this kit. I've gone and screwed these bits in because Tamiya didn't say do part 1 then do part 2. So I guess there's a hint, and I'll put the manual on screen because I guess it's just that thing of annoying me, and it probably doesn't annoy anyone who's had one of these and built one of these before. But as I look at it now, there's so many steps. I go, right, well, yeah, fine. If I'd have had my wits about me, I could have seen that this was shaped in a way that meant it wasn't going to actually go the way I planned. But it's just all a bit clunky weird, isn't it? Balance that precarious on there because there's nothing to locate it in the centre just yet until we get some drive shafts in. Fine. Then we balance this precariously on top of there. And then I'm allowed to screw it up. And I guess I've already screwed it up once, so let's screw it up again, sorry. Whilst keeping all the pieces in place. I have no idea how people are going to build this with the 21 tooth pinion or bigger in it. As in, it is just, I'm going to claim ridiculous, but you know, maybe I'm just being harsh. B1 doesn't like playing things, but whilst you've got to turn it over and do these screws up, fine, stop complaining, get on with the build. I've still got to get that differential into the right place because there's nothing to locate it yet. I'm going to grab drive cups because I want a confidence boost that I'm doing the right thing right now. What is going to encourage the diff to be where I need it to be? Wow. I'd love to say that runs all nice and smoothly and freely. Wowee. It sounds horrid. Good. I'm sure that's how they all sound. Jeez. And I've got something wrong because I've got a little bit of say play. It's not quite sat right. So I'm gonna figure that out, take it apart, and figure out what I've got going on with my differential, because that's not quite right, is it? So that's on me. Taking it apart, figured it out. I had got the main diff gear in backwards, so I guess it's a good job I didn't try and make both diffs at the same time. That is one in and in play, and now it spins quite sensibly, quite freely. There is a lot of float, and when you hear that people say, "Oh, the issue is the side plates," well, actually, there's so much float on that diff that I think that might be the bigger problem than worrying about the side plates. I did read somebody, and I can't remember who said it, so I can't give a shout out. Somebody did say, "Oh, pop some shims." Put your name in the comments. Put some shims in between these white carriers and the bearings, some 5x11 by 0.02 shims, and that will sort that float out without binding. I think 0.2 on each side might be too much for me. We'll see. I have got some. I'm going to build it up as is for the minute, but I'm expecting to tear it down again, and I will swap those in at a future point. So thanks for that shout. I think you're entirely right that actually sorting out that play is going to translate into play between the diff gears. So let's stop it before it starts and resolve that. Now, I'm not going to put my long screws here holding the gearbox together just yet. I'm going to build up the other gearbox, and then I'm going to get hold of the parts to be able to put these two gearboxes together, and we'll see where that puts us. I just thought I'd show off and say a few words about the gearbox because it is lovely. So you can see from here, the lighting's not great in the stream, I do apologise for that, but you can see here, two gearboxes joined together, and instead of using Monster Beetle suspension, Tom and I decided we wanted to use TLO1, or what I know as the Wild Willy suspension. So I guess the one at the back here, you can see it more clearly. That's with regular Monster Beetle UJs, and cups we're using, focus on here, regular screw pins, regular step screws at the top, screw pins at the bottom, into the mounts on this gearbox, and it is super free. There is none of the play I was talking about earlier in terms of the differential, so I'm confident that's not going to click with what we've got going on power wise. And you know, 2 off the suspension, 2 gearboxes, space in the middle there for one of my lipos to go in. I'll do a little mount on the top here for popping one of the ESCs up here. You can see this is the mount for suspension. It's set for the Monster Beetle suspension, so we'll run that. Lovely, and of course we'll mount it from here directly onto the regular chassis. So then I got a bit carried away and had to throw the wheels on it to see what it would look like. And one thing led to another. Before you know what's happening, before I've recorded anything, I've thrown the motors in, I've thrown the electronics in, and I'm ready to give it a go. I've got it on hoons for the minute because obviously that's what I want to do for the speedrun challenge. That's the thing that matters more than anything else for me getting it ready. The spacing, if I turn it round, you can see the spacing here is wider than we need for the hoons. That will allow me to either go with 100mm hoons, these are 85s, or when I finish with the speedrun challenge, this truck is going to do its duty as an off-roader. So the Monster Beetle wheels and tyres should fit on here when we're all said and done. I've put the Monster Beetle shocks and springs on. The springs on these are ridiculous. So I do need to do something else for that. I wonder actually whether the springs from the front of a Monster Beetle might be a better rate for the rears of this setup. I might have a play with that, take those shocks and just try them out and see. I've got 2 spare here, so maybe there's a thing there. In general, I'm going to need the ride height dropping quite a chunk, but that's okay. I haven't put any oil in the shocks yet, so they're super bouncy. But I want to get the ride height set before worrying about anything like that. The reason I've got the camera on for this is because this is when I'm going to pair up these and see what happens. So fingers crossed. I do know that we bind somewhat at full droop. I think we're probably not quite at full droop now that we've got the shocks on there, limiting how far it's able to go. So that probably helps us a bit. Turn it on, see what happens. I'm going to turn on just the front one, the one that's powering the receiver first. You can see we've got the steering, and that's an easy one. Wow, that's a bit, it's a bit aggressive on the steering at the minute. Fine. This servo's plenty good enough for what we need. I need that turning down quite a lot. I think I've got the mesh right. Shall we see what happens with the motor? I shouldn't be sat this close, but I've got eye protection on. Should we try the other one? Here we go. There's a bit of binding because, like I said, the height of the shocks here, but I guess we're gonna go get head cam on and just no, it's too dark. So there you have it. My Bratarootwo, a 6-wheeled mud blaster, dual gearbox, dual motor, dual everything. It's an absolute blaster drive. Running footage coming right up, but I'm briefly going to tell you what needs to change, what needs to happen next time around. It can't stay a clear body forever. That's going to be painted up next video. It's going to be painted up box art because, you know, hey, I've got the box here to go off. Before I paint it, it's got to get longer. And for it to get longer, I need more polycarbonate. There's a whole nother brat body, but this one I'm going to brutalize. This one, I'm cutting the deck off the back and it's to extend that one. It's not quite long enough. I don't know how that's going to work. Join me next time to find out. This is much for good luck. I don't know how it's going to work. Good luck. Good luck. You don't need luck, I do. So we're going to go modify this, paint it up, get ready for the SRC, and there's no way it's going to do a speed run on these Monster Beetle wheels and tires. I guarantee if I try it, these two are going to balloon catch together and you will love the crash, but I won't. So let's not do that. I have got the same D-Boots hoons as I had on the drag hopper. Silver this time for more grip. but they are somewhat diddy compared to these monster truck ones. So we'll try them out. They should be, by the numbers, they should be good for 70, 80 mile an hour with this as is. If I can turn the turbo and boost up, maybe we'll get more out of it. If all is going well, maybe I will take the leap to 100mm D-Boots Hoons, but I don't want to. That's enough of that. You want to see some running video? Let's cut to it.